Welcome colleagues, I'm Kaz, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be looking at projectors, the basics, the different technologies, and how we can apply that knowledge to recommend the most suitable products for our customers. But first things first, let's take a look at some of the terms you'll come across when discussing projectors. Contrast ratio is the difference between the lightest and darkest content that the projector is capable of producing. Essentially, the higher the contrast ratio, the better, as the goal is to achieve deep blacks and punchy brightness. Lumens, the unit used for measuring the amount of light a projector can produce. Again, the higher the number the better, as preferably you want a nice bright image, so you don't have to worry as much about the room being pitch black. Throw ratio. This tells us what image size we can project from a certain distance away. Always aim to spec a system that gives us much flexibility. Going to either end of the projector's extremity will have negative effects on the picture quality, and you run the risk of it not being compatible with the screen size. Keystone. Keystone correction is a function that allows projectors that are not placed perpendicular to the horizontal center line of the screen, too high or too low, to skew the output image, therefore making it rectangular. Unfortunately, in most cases, this will compress the image in ways that are detrimental to the viewing experience. Lens shift allows the lens to move freely without the need to physically move the projector. This gives greater flexibility when placing the projector in the room. This is more desirable than keystone adjustment, as the image will suffer far less from compression or scaling. Projector screen gain. Gain is a measurement of the reflectivity of any screen or projection surface. The gain number represents a ratio of the light that is reflected from the screen as compared to the light reflected from a standard white magnesium oxide reference board. Therefore, a screen with a gain of 1 will reflect the same amount of light as that from a whiteboard. A screen rated at 1.5 gain will reflect 50% more light, whereas a grey screen with a 0.8 rating will reflect 80% of light. Ambient light rejection screens. An ALR screen selectively reflects light back to the audience. The goal of the ALR surface is to respond well to the light from a projector, and to limit the re-reflection of light coming from off-axis sources such as lighting and windows. Now let's go over the 3 vital equations that will help you with all projector inquiries. To calculate the distance the projector needs to be from the screen, just multiply the screen width by the projector's throw ratio. I would recommend using millimeters for accuracy. The width of the projected image can be calculated by dividing the distance of the projector by its throw ratio. A suitable throw ratio can be calculated by dividing the distance of the projector by the screen's width. And finally, let's look at some key projector technologies. Short throw. A short throw projector, as implied by the name, can produce large images whilst being close to the screen. Just a few feet away can produce a 100-inch image. Ultra short throw. An ultra short throw projector is designed to be even closer to the screen. Images of 100 inches or more can be produced just inches away. DLP. Digital light processing, or DLP projectors, use tiny mirrors to reflect light which is typically projected through a color wheel that spins to create color images. Manufacturers use different methods to produce higher quality images from DLP projectors, such as a faster color wheel or multiple DLP chips. DLP projectors range greatly in price, but they are often the least expensive option, with some starting as little as £400 and the most expensive being the ones you will find in most movie theatres. Now, the downside to DLP, but more specifically the cheaper models with a single chip, is that they can produce a phenomenon known as the rainbow effect. The rainbow effect is a bit difficult to explain and isn't visible to everyone, but some people notice flashes of colour across the screen when watching video on a DLP projector, which can be very distracting. This is usually the result of a slower colour wheel speed and is less noticeable on more expensive DLP projectors. 3 LCD. 3 LCD projectors use 3 LCD or liquid crystal display panels, each producing a separate colour, red, green or blue, and combine them to produce a colour image. When compared to cheaper DLP projectors, 3 LCD has better colour reproduction and doesn't suffer from the rainbow effect. So if your customer is unlucky enough to see the rainbow, then 3 LCD is the way to go. LCOS. LCOS, or liquid crystal on silicone, is sort of like a mixture between DLP and 3 LCD projectors, although they offer superior black levels, greater colour reproduction, and very sharp high-resolution images. The downside being they often cost upwards of £3,000. Models you may be familiar with that use this type of technology include the Sony VPL VW270. Laser. Laser projectors are the best choice if you're looking for maximum light output while sacrificing very little colour accuracy. They also have a much longer lifespan, upward of 20,000 hours, since they use lasers instead of a traditional bulb. While bulb-based projectors gradually deteriorate over time, laser projectors stay every bit as crisp as when they were new. The trade-off being they are usually very expensive. Whether it's a screen or a projector, the most important thing to consider, and should always be the first question you ask your customer, is what environment will it be used in? Try to be conscious of your customer's needs and budget. Not everyone can afford to go down the laser route, but they might be convinced to go a couple of notches higher on the ladder if you can demonstrate what they'll get if they pay the extra. It's important for you to see these different technologies in action, so you can make up your own mind as to which technologies offer the best performance at any given price point. Now, I can't stress this point enough, folks. Never use third-party projector calculators. They can often be outdated or incorrect, and that can cause major issues when it comes to installation. If the manufacturer supplies a calculator on their official website, then you should be fine. But if you're just trying to work out something simple like the size of the screen or the distance the projector should be placed, then please just use the calculations I mentioned earlier in the video. And of course, don't forget, projectors almost always need an AV system of some kind. So get stuck in and don't shy away from customers inquiring about these types of products. Practice makes perfect. Thank you so much for watching, colleagues. I really hope you found this video helpful. See you in the next one. Bye for now.